Permanent Mission of Pakistan to the UN. Please, Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you, Paula. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by thanking my distinguished colleagues, Ambassador Milenko of Chile, Ambassador Cristian Espinoza of Ecuador, and the other organizers for today's event, and for giving me the opportunity to deliver the opening remarks. I would also like to commend the excellent work done by the Secretary General's Special Envoy on Disability and Accessibility, Ms. Maria Soledad Sistenas Reyes, for promoting the rights of persons with disabilities. Dear friends, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities requires states parties to take all possible measures to ensure the protection and safety of persons with disabilities, including the protection of their access to the highest attainable standards of health. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development pledges to, quote, leave no one behind, unquote. It is critical to ensure, in this regard, the full and equal participation of persons with disabilities in all spheres of society and create enabling environments for them in line with the vision contained in the CRPD and the 2030 Agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic is the most severe disruption the world has faced in recent memory. While persons with disabilities share the same primary needs as everyone else, empirical evidence suggests that they have been disproportionately impacted by the pandemic, as they are at a greater risk of developing more severe health conditions resulting from COVID-19. Moreover, the barriers to healthcare have been further exacerbated during the COVID-19 crisis, making timely and appropriate care difficult for persons with disabilities. An integrated approach is therefore required to ensure that persons with disabilities are not left behind in our response and recovery efforts. In this regard, I would like to propose the following. First, universal accessibility for persons with disabilities is a central pillar and bridge for the exercise of their human rights. It is therefore imperative to mainstream disability in all development plans and efforts. Second, to fully implement universal accessibility, we must move broadly towards the eradication of multidimensional poverty in accordance with SDG 17. In this regard, the Third International Conference on Financing for Development duly recognized the importance of financing for disability-relevant services and support for developing countries, which should be provided on a priority basis. Third, as President of ECOSOC, I have proposed greater fiscal space for developing countries, larger investment in sustainable infrastructure, and adoption of new technologies to recover from the COVID crisis and achieve the 2030 Agenda. For example, the development of smart cities with technological innovations can truly facilitate universal accessibility. In this regard, consideration should be given to the creation of an infrastructure project preparation and investment facility in a private-public partnership associated with or under the umbrella of the United Nations. Such a body could assist developing countries in preparing viable and bankable infrastructure projects, including development of smart cities, which would facilitate universal accessibility for persons with disabilities. Fourth, in the context of the global pandemic, all services related to the COVID-19 crisis including remote telephone medical advice, quarantine facilities, public information, including information on essential supplies and services, should be accessible for persons with disabilities on an equal basis and provided on accessible platforms in various alternative formats, modes, and methods of communication. Ladies and gentlemen, the high-level political forum of the ECOSOC next year will be an appropriate time to focus on accessibility, especially on healthcare and the exercise of other related rights by persons with disabilities. It would be an opportunity to discuss modalities for financing for disability-relevant services, particularly in developing countries, which would be critical for making universal accessibility a reality. Most importantly, I hope that the high-level political forum will adopt a COVID-19 response and recovery strategy which is inclusive, accessible, and capable of reaching the furthest behind first, especially people with disabilities. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your words.